Hey guys, lovely to see you all again. I thought it had been a while since I'd done some Disturbed, and I'd like to dedicate this lovely lesson to a wonderful man called Nick Stratton, who, without him, I wouldn't have learnt this. He helped me learn it as well, so thank you, Nick. And without further ado, let's have a look at Dawn. Alright guys, before we get too excited, we just need to talk about the tuning, which is drop C, which goes C, G, C, F, A, D. So get yourself in tune and we'll get started. Alright guys, let's have a look at the first section. I want to start with a big bend from 13 of the first string. I'm going to bring it down, give it some cheeky vibrato, and then I hit it again and slide off into oblivion. Okay, then I work into this phrase, which is a pretty simple idea. Just sort of variated 4 times. Quite repetitive. I've got a slight bend on 13 of the second string, and then I'm going to play 10 of the first. And then I've got to pull off from 13 to 10 on the first string. I'm going to do exactly the same idea again, but this time I'm going to pull off from 15 to 10 on the first string. So back to back. I'm going to repeat that idea 2 times. At the end of that, I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I've got a bend from 13 of the second string up and back, and then I'm pulling off to 11. So it's a full tone, and then I pull off to the 11. Then I want to jump to 12 of the third string. At the end of that, I've got to hammer on into a pull off, going 11 to 13, back to 11 on the second string. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far from the start. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. The start of that, I've got sort of a little rolling legato idea. I'm playing 12, 14, 15 on the third string. I'm only picking the first note and then hammering on the next 2. At the end of that, I'm going to play 15 of the second string and then pull off 17 to 15. At the end of that, I'm going to bend 17 up and back and then pull off to the 15. So all together, at the end of that, I'm going to play 15 of the third, 15 of the second, and then back to 15 of the third again. So we're going to go like this. Okay, then the start of the next bar goes like this. Let's slow that down. This is a pretty odd jump. I'm going to go from 14 to 7 on the third string. After that, I hit 8 of the 4th string. At the end of that, what I have here is a slight pinch harmonic from 7 of the 4th string. I'm going to bend that up and back and pull off to 5, and then hit 5 again. At the end of that, I'm going to play 3-5 on the 3rd string. So let's go from that little legato idea from 12 of the 3rd string nice and slow. Hopefully that's all making sense. We'll work through this final bendy chunk and then we'll do the whole section again. So what I've got here is I'm playing 15 of the second string and 17 of the third, and I'm bending them together as a unison. Okay, so I do that unison bend, that little chord idea with bending from the 17, and then I'm just going to hit 15 of the second string by itself. I'm going to do that idea 3 times in a row. At the end of the third group of that, I'm just going to play the 17 by itself on the third string as the bend, but then play a cheeky 18 on the second. At the end of that, I'm going to bend those together. So it's going to go separate bend, and then the little pinky note on 18, and then together. So we've got... And then just to lead into the second section, I've got 2 quick notes on 20 of the second string, which will lead us into... those cheeky arpeggios there. So that's pretty much all of the first section. Let's try it again relatively slowly, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's take a look at the second section. We're going to start off with two pretty run-of-the-mill triad minor arpeggios. Exactly the same shape on both of them. So I'm going to start off with a pull-off from 22 to 18 on the first string. Then I want to play 20 of the second and 19 of the third. I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but from 17 to 13 on the first is a pull-off. And then I play 15 on the second and 14 of the third. As you'll see, they're exactly the same shape twice. The only difference is when I get to the top of the second arpeggio, I'm going to go into some sexy stuff there. So when I get to 14 of the third string, I'm going to do a hammer on from 14 to 15, then hit 15 again at the end of that. Okay, and then I go back to the 14. So I've got the hammer on into 15, and then I play 14. At the end of that, what I've got there is a bend from 18 of the second string. I bend it up a full tone. Then play it again at the bottom as just some cheeky vibrato. So let's try this whole section at a gentleman's pace. Okay, then I work into this phrase. So a little slide in on this is welcome, if you will. I've got a flat finger covering 15 of the second and the first string. And I'm just going to roll from the second to the first, but we don't want any bleed or sustain. Then I work into this phrase. What I'm doing here is playing 17 of the first as a regular note and then a semitone bend up and back. Then I'm resolving to 15. After that, I work into this phrase. So what I've got here is a bend up and back from 18 of the first string, pulling off to 15. And then I just play 18 with some cheeky vibrato. So let's go from that sort of slide into the 15. Hopefully that's all making sense. Then I work into this phrase. Okay. As you can see, this all takes place around a similar area of the guitar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play 10 of the second string as kind of a leading note. And then I've got 3 notes here. And then I work into a little group of 5 notes, which is exactly the same thing 3 times. But we'll go through it all a little bit slower than that. So I've got the 10 of the second string. I've got 3 notes now that I want to do, pulling off from 11 to 10 on the second string, and then I roll to 10 of the third. Okay, so the next thing is a group of 5 notes that I'm going to play pretty much exactly the same 3 times. I'm going to pull off 13 to 10, and then pull off 11 to 10 on the second string. So I've got 2 picks there. And then I just roll to 10 of the third string. So there's 5 notes there. And I'm going to do that 3 times. So I'm going to have my lead-in note, 3 notes, and then the group of 5 notes 3 times. I'll play that a bit slower. Okay, then I've got a quick leading note here from 10 of the second string. And then I'm going to do a pull-off from 15 to 10 on the second string. And then I roll to 10 of the third. So let's have a look at what we've got thus far now with that added extra sort of stretchy guy. At the end of that, I'm going to borrow that 5-note group one more time. And that was just the 13, 10, 11, 10, and then the roll up. So let's go from the leading note now and then work through all of that. Hopefully that's all making sense. Then we'll work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I've got a bend from 10 of the third string, and then my pinky's hitting 11 on the second string when I'm at the top of that bend. So doing a full tone, and I'm going to do that twice. At the end of the second, I'm going to play them together. At the end of that, I'm going to hit 7 of the third string 4 times. But on the fourth pick, I'm going to slide to 10 and then go back to 7. So after that slide, I'm going to add some vibrato and pick the 7 again. Hopefully that's making sense. So that's pretty much all of this second section. Let's go from those arpeggios at the start. We'll do the whole thing relatively slowly and then go back and do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Okay, section 3. This is the sexy tapping bit. So this isn't particularly hard to play, but it can get a little bit confusing because of the weird pulse of what's going on. I'm going to start off with a tap from 11 of the second string and then pull off to 8. And then I hammer back into 11. So the weird thing is we're going to have a crossover of hammered notes and tap notes. So I'm going to go 11, 8, and then 11 again as the hammer on. And we're going to repeat that idea 8 times. When you do it fast, you get a pretty interesting sound. Kiko does something very similar in the Conquer or Die solo. I've heard Paul Gilbert use some ideas like this as well. So it is a not often used tap technique, but it is pretty rockin' when it's done well. So I'm going to do that idea 8 times, then I work into this phrase. So I've got 3 taps. My first one's going to start from 13 of the second string. I pull off to 8, and then I hammer 11, and then pull off to 8. So I've got 4 notes there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do that 4-note group 3 times. And I do the same thing, but my tap's going to be on 15. Hopefully that's making sense. Then what I want to do here, sort of with that triplet pulse, I'm going to play 18 of the second string, and then I'm going to pull off to 13, hammer 15, and pull off to 13, and I'm just going to do 6 of that in a row. Okay, and then the last thing I do, another little cheeky tap idea, I'm playing 22 of the second string, pulling off to 15, then hammering to 18 and pulling back to the 15. And there's 6 of those in a row. At the end of that last pull off, I've got a long ass bent vibrato from 18 of the second string. All right, rockin'. That's the whole tapping section. So let's try that again at a gentleman's pace and then again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. And that was the solo to Torn by Disturbed. Hope you guys have enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please click the links in the description box to my Patreon and my Facebook. Take care, guys. I'll see you soon.